Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. We are here with another Alliance War video, and today ISO8A has rematched Matrix. So we actually faced them 6 wars ago in war number 2, and they were actually one of our 2 losses this season. So we knew that we would have to play pretty well. I was testing something for someone in my alliance, so I needed Quake in a quest, so I just had to go end that quest quickly so I can join with her. And today we actually have the team of Quake, Apocalypse, and Diablo. Now, I was originally assigned Quake, Diablo, and Cosmic Ghost Rider, but Cosmic Ghost Rider was only for one fight, and that fight, I thought it didn't really matter who took it, and another fight I was supposed to use Quake for that I really did not like Quake as an option. And I know the matchup. I know it's just a long fight, and I really don't like it. So I know that Apocalypse could take either fight. So I brought in Apocalypse for those 2 fights. I did approve it with him first. He said, yes, that's completely fine. Apocalypse does make sense as well. And we actually are able to do all of our fights in one boosting session. So that's pretty nice. And then right here, this our first fight is going to be Manthing on the first node of path 1, section 1, and then we're going to be going over to path 3, section 2, and then we have 2 mini bosses on the boss island. So this was a pretty normal fight, other than me hitting 1 accidental parry in the fight. I was completely fine, but I think I had a concussion up at the time, so he couldn't have nullified it, but I'm not 100% sure. I might not have, and I might have just gotten lucky. But anyways, yeah, so for this war, we're running half suicides, and then only for my very last fight am I going to turn on full suicides, which is the Diablo fight. So this fight actually went pretty fast. Manthing, he has decently high physical resistance, but it's nothing crazy. So there we go, that fight goes down. Now we'll go to our next fight. So this is the fight that I was supposed to use Quake for, and it's Masochism, and I'm going to use Apocalypse now. Apocalypse is faster, but he's going to be slower than CGR for the next fight, so I'm kind of going to make up that time difference. So we're going to throw an advanced power boost here, and we're going to use that advanced power boost for the last 2... Excuse me. For the last, for the next 2 fights, both for Apocalypse. So I know that Spidergwen is going to evade, and I also know that her evade can reach over 100% ability accuracy, which means that Apocalypse will not completely shut it down, but I think it only goes above 100% if... I think it only goes over 100% if your attack is unblockable, so I don't think that she'll be able to evade when she hits 100, but I could be wrong. So we threw 1 L2 there to get the concussion up, and then we threw another L1 to get the weakness. Both ones I actually went in with a light attack first. Both I should have done a medium. So that's my mistake. I would have been doing more damage. Excuse me. But she is evading a lot, and I think I'm going to get up to like 80% evade just from this one fight alone. So she's now at her 5 charges, so she's evading a lot. And she's having a lot of evades fail as well. And there we threw the L2, and she evaded the first hit, which means the whole thing connects on her block, and I take recoil. But she doesn't punish me, so that's completely fine. Also, at this point, Apocalypse has roughly 45,000 health left. And while some opponents can deal that much damage in 5 hits, Spidergwen can't. Even with like 4 out of 5 crits or something like that. Like there was no shot she was even getting me in assassin's range there. So that fight goes down, and we're going to go over to our next fight. Actually, I think I used 0 potions this entire war, which is the first time that's happened this season. I'm pretty sure I don't. If I don't use a potion here, it means I used absolutely 0. Okay, good, I didn't. So yeah, you'll see I had Apocalypse, this boosted, has like 70,000 health, and I had like 55k left, so I was really not worried about it. And the reason that I ran half suicides was primarily for this fight because Venom, he didn't, but he could have started with a armor up, and then I would have gotten bleed on myself. Now with Apocalypse, I could have just let that bleed give me bleed immunity, but that would have delayed the fight, whereas using half suicides builds up my bleed immunity in the previous fight, so it's pretty free. I don't even have to worry about it, but he didn't actually end up getting a armor up the entire fight, so it didn't matter. But here we're gonna land. I should have landed a heavy attack there, admittedly, that was a mistake, but it's completely fine. We got up our concussion, and because he throws this L1, we're actually not able to reset our degen, but I'm just gonna go right in, right here, and throw the L1, and it's actually going to kill him, so it didn't end up mattering, and it is still like a minute fight, so decently fast. Obviously CGR would have been much faster, but Quake would have been much slower than Apocalypse or Spidergwen, so it makes up the time. So now we're here for our last two fights of the war, one of which is a Quake fight. I'm quaking this bishop, and then we're actually going to be taking that red Magneto, the fight I was insanely worried about, and I brought up my concerns to my officer. I was like, yeah, I'm really scared for this fight. I forgot that poison turns off the stun thing so that you can parry safely. I completely forgot it. I don't know how I forgot, because I knew it turned it off with Incinerate. But yeah, I just forgot that stun reflection gets turned off pretty much. And you'll notice against Bishop, I don't start the fight charging heavy, and that was not a mistake. That was intentional, because the first light attack on Bishop is so short. It's so short that if he throws a light attack first rather than a medium, his light attack will whiff off the start of the fight, and then with me reacting with the evade that should have happened if he'd thrown a medium attack, it throws my heavy attack, and if he had dashed back, that means that he gets a full combo on me. So what I did to avoid that is I just dexed into my own corner, and then I started quaking, because anytime you're out in the middle of the field, or in the middle of the battlefield, quaking Bishop, he has a high chance to whiff. And actually, I didn't slow it down, but if you were paying attention, you would have noticed, if you were looking at his animations, 2 times in this fight, he ended combos early. Like, he didn't use a 4th light attack or a 2nd medium. One of them, he did medium, light, 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 which doesn't end a combo, and then he just sat there. And then the second time, he didn't even throw a medium. He just did 2 light attacks and then stopped. Luckily, I was paying attention, and I didn't fall for his whiff either time, so we were safe. But Quakers that are not paying attention to stuff like that, that is how you make mistakes, and you push him to a bar of power. So, right here, we are facing this Magneto, and I actually throw on the energy resistance pre-fight. Now, while this is going to make me do a little less damage, what it is going to do is, after I throw a special, let's say I'm trapped with him not throwing special attacks, and I have to bait an L2, right? Obviously, I'm not going to try to evade it in war, but if I've recently thrown a special attack, I'm able to block it, and I regen back almost all of it. So right there, I actually eat the L1, but for this fight, we're going to be getting openings by banking in the corner, and when you finish a combo with Diablo, a 2nd medium, he actually has a 75% chance to inflict a poison. So it actually failed twice in a row. And right there, I was walking towards him, and he just threw a random heavy attack. That was so weird. But you'll notice that SP2 from Diablo just does massive damage. Massive damage. And right here, I made a mistake. What I should have done is I should have hit into his block to push him to an L1, but he's actually going to be pretty nice after this heavy attack, and he's going to throw his L1, and we do take some block damage, but that's completely fine because we get our poison right there. We're going to get to our L2, and he's dead. So Diablo kills this fight in 2 special 2s. So obviously not a perfect fight. I ate some block damage and took damage from the global. I ate a heavy attack, and I ate an L1, but I'm pretty sure that's it. Maybe I ate a combo in the corner too. I don't even remember. But anyways, that was the end of the war. Diablo was amazing for that fight. I max boosted because I was scared for the fight. I really should not have been scared. But we actually ended up losing this war. So Matrix beat us yet again. So we are currently, before this war ends, we are in 4th place overall. So, which means that we are 1 spot out of top 3. But we are going to fall probably to like 6th or 7th after this loss. And our record on the season is now 5-3. I'm still sitting at 3 deaths. My PSR is 42 out of 45, which is 93%. And my deathless streak is at 16 fights. So, also, this marks the first time in the season that I've gone 2 wars without dying. So, I'm going to call that an accomplishment. And we just have to finish the last 4 wars exactly like that. So yeah, that is actually going to be all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I will see you in the next video, which will probably be the level up video from my opening.